All right, guys. What I'm doing right now is just doing a recording while I'm drawing. So just wanted to talk a few things just in general about like how, keeping busy and creative during this time of like quarantine. I hope this is something useful in the sense of like, hey, I do more logos or I do more drawings as in creating characters than doing graphic design or graphic illustration. It's kind of like you kind of have some similarity. So, part of the things is having a routine, having a schedule, creating content, stuff that pays, stuff that's more for yourself, things that I tend to create. I like to just work on my brand. My brand is, Aleroart. Other thing I work on as well is my character Aleroart that, he just keeps me busy with creating consistent content, whether it be apparel, whether it be original art for canvases and wood panels. Drawing Aleroart on things that would be used in households. So those are just examples, but more so for me as a person creating content and a creator outlet, I like to do create things that kind of out of the norm, but it's not really an original concept. It's just when you're creating certain things with let's say if this is geared towards branding, if you made something, what would you want to see your character on? For me, sky's the limit for creating my character on different materials, objects, brands. And I don't know where it came from, but growing up you always see things that you're influenced by: cartoons, movies, music, things that pertain to what makes you as a creative being, whether you are making music or rather you are drawing in your sketchbook. You are basically just continuing that will. You are not the person that, granted, if you are the person that came up with the original, that's awesome and we thank you for that. But other than that, having to hold on to being the person of like creating content. All artists in some format have that block, writer's block, artist block, something. But we're just, this type of like video / recording is just more of like, just creating content during this pandemic. So basically I'm just trying to bring that right back. I just want to talk about what are things you can do that, keep yourself sane, keep yourself creative, find yourself being creative. How can you help for yourself mentally? It's really difficult to say it like that, but we all have to have something. And as much as to look around and wanting to see what other people are doing, I speak for myself. I just always have my head in my work. I love people, I love humanity, I love all that, but for me to like look at other people, what they're doing, I kind of feel like it freezes me up, so I have to be creating. Last week I'm working on a model sheet for a pitch for Netflix for a dude up in Canada. He's a real awesome dude. This week I'm working on a t-shirt design for a pal in California, and it's really cool and it's exciting to be able to switch things off and to be fortunate to wake up different days to work on a comic book or a coloring book I'm very, very grateful, and it takes time, it takes hours, years, just to be able to be asked that you are wanted to be able to do things in your style. And for part of my years as a working illustrator, that, you know, creating content and making comic books and creating characters, it's been a journey. So I just want to get myself into my branding of creating these videos of talking about kind of like the day of what, you know, I do. And maybe it's something that you guys can relate to, maybe not, but this is just something I want to add to my my brand, Aleroart. So I feel like I jump around with things, but it all goes back to, you know, what's our purpose type of deal. So right now it's like, because of our situation of being inside, how can you as an individual create, and more so for yourself, and how much can you do to satisfy yourself, kind of like you know, being able to recharge, and what drains you, especially being in the same spot all the time. Or you might have other priorities, you might have family to help take care of, or, you know, certain things that have to be done. But creating content is my way of re-energizing. So while I'm working on this piece right now, I'm just pretty much just trying to think about what are things that I would like to see create with my brand. So and mentioning before that my Aleroart brand that is used in cartooning and for apparel, and branching off with Alley Cat, and he's his own brand himself, but it all goes back to myself. So I just feel like that this is one of those things that I'm very fortunate to be able to do, to be able to create content that I enjoy, and I think you should too. I think if you just have a sketchbook, even if it's like for 5 minutes, just try to draw something, just create. If it's a coloring book, just be creative. Trying to like say things that involve everything's just encouragement. And I know we all have our days, and I have my days where I just want to not draw, I just want to shut down, I just want to watch a movie or play ROM, like 8-bit games. That's my break from my artwork, in the sense, because I try to relax with certain things. Drawing kind of is my relaxing too, but I guess I make up other things just to do. Being able to talk with friends, family. Sometimes not everybody's going to understand what you're going through. To be able to have that, that positive feedback is great, but sometimes you're going to get the people that just like, I don't get it. Get over yourself. Why are you even trying? And for that, all I could say is just, you just gotta separate yourself from that. Some certain things involve keeping that kind of energy around you. And for me, I'm always just positive. So, for myself, I have my own battles of trying to create, and I know other people have their own. And I know it sounds easy, but I know it's difficult at times. But you just have to just put in 5 minutes. You have to just try, write stuff out. I have a bunch of dry erase boards, just writing down goals. What are things that I want to create in the following week, the following months, maybe 2 to 3 years in the future, I try to think about what I want to see myself as a creator creating or being part of, or visualizing myself in part of a business or a travel. Doesn't have to all pertain back to art, but for me, myself, I do connect it to art. And this is just one of those things you should just, have. Even if you don't have a dry erase board, write it down and then tape it on the wall. I guarantee there's things where if you look at it, it just starts to play off your brain of like saying, I'm gonna get this stuff done. And I say for myself, I manifest it. Like I write stuff down and I look at the board and I say, holy crap, I just made my next enamel pin, and it was just like kind of on a cruise control. And that was one of the things to be able to create during this pandemic. A lot of people, we're all just trying to do different things, and for me, I just try to look at the present and try to look at the future of things. So like, we're getting close, we're already in the fall, so I just try to think of like, maybe there's a jacket and you just want to add pins. The other thing I created was Aleroart patch. I've never made a patch before. I probably designed a patch for other clients, but for myself, the Aleroart patch was it was on my dry erase board as my to-do from earlier this year, and to be able to get it done in around the ending of summertime was really cool because it was on my to-do list. So it just one of those things of instead of just like waiting around, but if I can make time to at least find something, that was my my thing to do. But swinging everything back to creating content during this quarantine, be yourself in the sense of, well, you should be yourself in general, but be like truthful. Like, what can I make? What can I create? What are things to think out of the box? It's cool that we all imitate and do what we find like our heroes or other creators are doing. Just you gotta just create and then move on to the next thing. And that's what I try to do. I had this thing earlier on where I'm always wanting to be like certain creators that I look up to and I'm influenced by, and I don't know if my brain is like not catching it all, but I like when I look at other creators, artists, I like it, but I just don't feel like I could see myself doing that. And it's a weird kind of way of just talking into this right now, and it's not trying to be cocky, but it's a sense of like believing that, hey, I could do that too. And it's no disrespect to the person that you're looking at. And I see guys that are like killing it with like apparel and design and making toys, and they're overseas, and I'm just like, yeah, I could see Aleroart like that. So I think with that, you have to try to visualize if you have your character. If you don't, you're still working on it, and it doesn't matter what age you are, just create something and it will pop up. Aleroart manifested a couple of years ago, and I mean a couple of years ago, it's been a good while. He was basically me with a gray sweatshirt and a cap and glasses, and that was my go-to as Aleroart. So he manifests that, and over time, and you could see the hat on his head shrunk down a little bit. His head got bigger, and his head's the shape of like a marshmallow, so that's funny. I just try to think about like, what can I do that I could create that's something for me. So that's a little tidbit about history about Alley Cat. But like creating your content during this time, I feel like, make something that that you would like to see and create. And we're at this part of this time where everything is e-commerce, everything is print on demand. Probably showing my age, and I remember starting off wanting to make comics. That print demand did not work. I would hear, like, I call them war stories, but you would hear people that even print out black and white, they would just pretty much go and ask for 10,000 copies before getting your stuff. Now you can print out, the minimum amount is 25 copies of a book, and that's like, you just drop the PDF files in the folder. There's communication with the printer, but if everything's all laid out, you get your books within a couple of weeks. You do that with enamel pins, you do that with stickers, and these are things that I'm just letting you know, things that you can create for your brand, so you don't have to feel like, oh, that person has this and that and they have this budget. You can work with a budget. You can work on things that how do you say it, as long as you're making something and you're creating it, just put it on a sticker, put it on a button. Alley Cat started off with the sticker, and his sticker, the very first sticker of Alley Cat, I would say, was out of a color copier on sticker paper, and I cut it out and I took them to shows and people were digging it. And during this sitting in quarantine, you should be making that your own brand, a saying, a character, something. Just make something. I don't know. At some part right now, I'm very excited because I don't really talk as much on my podcast, and I kick myself at times, but I'm learning, and we all should be. We all have our days where is it worth making. And for myself, and I speak for myself right now, is I need to make these videos or audios for myself as to listen back and say, hey, I made this. So I really hope that these are things that help people in general, that they ask as an illustrator, as a cartoonist, as a workshop instructor, creating all age comics with middle school kids, high school students, and I get some adults that ask structure of things. I always tell them, I said, after your book, what do you want to make with this? Then they have question marks, especially the little kids. I always find it funny because I always say they have little Christmas light bulbs over their head that are little blinking, and you can see some of them can see consistency of branding, and I just want to bring that out in people. So in these times, rather it be just a simple sketch, a line drawing, just make something, create content, be consistent. And this is the perfect time right now, being indoors, working on a third Kickstarter for 2021 with my awesome creator, and we're doing that. I'm still knocking out stuff with my Alley Cat brand, and then doing freelance gigs, because this is something that I enjoy doing, enjoy creating content for people. And I'm most grateful that people ask, hey, can you work on this? Can you make that? I have this as a gift, something for, a loved one, just something in general. I just try to be consistent of making a brand that can talk to people. And I hope that that's something that you guys can do, especially at these times right now. I'm inspired by other artists. I love to see that people are creating. I love it. And this is a time right now where you have your head down, but at the same time be mindful, what can you have in the present and what can you offer in the future. I try to look, and hopefully that's something that people can walk away with. And being limited to your situation of being at home, just make that time. And I know we all have time to watch television, we all have time to talk with our friends and family and stuff like that, but if it's something that you can incorporate, it does pay off. And I'm always surprised that I'll finish something and I'll work on the next thing and I'll look back and I say, oh, I got that done, I could use that for something. My next thing that I'm creating are a couple of keychains of Aleroart. I've never made keychains before, but I just thought, wouldn't it be funny to have this little guy on a keychain? So I don't know, my ultimate goal while during this pandemic and the things that we're working on, I just want this to be something that we can look past, as in when we get to the next step of being out. And it's weird, and you want to say to go back to normal, but I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think there's gonna be a thing to this goes back to normal. We're gonna do a new thing. So when we go out again, and I'm hopeful that we could all interact with people and say, hey, look, this is what I created. Somebody did a coding class that I guess they'd never done before, but they did it, and I'm very proud of that person. Another person took up like a new skill. We should all be creating something, making something. I'm not a podcaster, and I just feel like I get people asking like, oh, that's cool that how long you been doing it? I'm like, have you heard my I always feel like you should always be making something. So that was being silly of me saying like when I told that person like that's me, and see, I just did it right there. Make it. Don't worry about mistakes, just do it. Love it, enjoy it. I love that I could be able to do this, and people could pop up and say that was cool. I'm silly, but at the same time I'm a person that wants to make content, so you should be thinking that way too. Incorporate people around you if they want to, and if you want to. Don't feel like you have to. If you're trying to make something with a group of people, chances are you're gonna probably be the only person doing it, and you can't be mad at anybody else but yourself, but incorporating people. So be mindful how you want to group something, rather it be with music or creating art or something that involves a group of people. So I want to make more of these. I want to make more. I'm writing it down. I'm looking at my board. I'm going to make this a habit of this audio. I hope this records, because again, I'm new at this. I don't know what pops up on this computer that makes like sound. Certain times when I'm recording, I'll do a full 30 minutes and no audio. So I hope that lesson there is just make it, and the next one will be better, and the next one, and that goes for your artwork, and it goes for your music, and it goes for your writing, and it just goes for things as like an exercise when a person is building muscle. My muscle is basically trying to learn more about this audio and video. So I want to wrap this up. I want to thank you guys. This is pretty much a video or audio more so for what do you do during pandemic? How do you create? What are you creating? Certain things of creating, being motivated. What are things to recharge yourself? what are things, and basically at the end of this is basically saying during these times right now is to create, and I hope that's helpful. I hope for the next one I'm going to be more narrow down for a segment for things to do, but again, I just wanted to talk about that, and I'm grateful that you are able to listen to this. I plan to make more of these. I am Aleroart. You can check out my work at aleroart.com. I'm on patreon.com/Aleroart. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Aleroart. And I look forward to more of these audios. So I want to thank you guys for being part of this, checking out what I do. I look forward to more of these. I hope to hear from you guys. And I just want to say thank you. See you guys later. Peace out. Bye.